Anggerek is located 583 kilometers west of Cocos Islands, and has moved northwestward at 6 kilometers per hour, 3 knots, over the past 6 hours. Anggerek is forecast with medium confidence to track southwest at 5 kilometers per hour, 2 knots, over the next 36 hours before picking up track speed significantly, transiting at 20 kilometers per hour, 10 knots, in 5 days. The track speed increase is anticipated to be driven by a subtropical ridge building to the southeast, influencing track speed in 60 hours. Intensity is forecast to continue to increase over the next 60 hours with a peak of approximately 150 km per hour, 80 knots. The intensification is expected due to a decrease of wind shear and favorable sea surface temperatures as the system transitions out of its previously quasi-stationary state. Beyond 60 hours, the approach of a sharp mid-latitude trough from the west and a decrease in wind shear is anticipated to support improved poleward outflow. However, dry air from the east is expected to separate the central vortex at the mid-level, causing an expected decline in storm intensity to 120 km per hour, 65 knots, in 4 days. In 4 to 5 days, the atmosphere is expected to moisten and outflow is expected to improve once again, allowing for the system to maintain intensity through the end of the forecast. Deterministic model guidance is in good agreement in terms of track direction but differs greatly in track speed. The maximum cross-track spread is 370 km at 5 days. The level at which the subtropical ridge will impact the storm's speed varies little at 2 days, but model disagreement increases the along-track distance to 1,241 km in 5 days, with UCMT slowest and GFS fastest. Intensity for Anggerek generally agrees on intensification in 0 to 2 days but begins to disagree on the rate at which the storm will weaken and whether or not the storm will re-intensify. HWRF anticipates a drastic intensification to 185 km per hour, 100 knots, by the end of the forecast period, while COAMSTC expects dissipation to 55 km per hour, 30 knots. Maximum significant wave height is 5.2 meters, 17 feet.